And to political news on this Monday, Bernie Sanders continues to gain some momentum among non-white voters in this country. He has gone up 16% since October. Hillary Clinton has fallen 11%. That's in the latest polling. So how is this all going to unfold for Bernie Sanders? He did admit that if the election were held today, that he would lose. But this guy's a fighter, and he's also carrying the same message everywhere. In a church, a Baptist church in South Carolina yesterday, he talked about who he is and why he's running.
I am running for President of the United States because I believe that in our great country, we can do a lot better for working people and for poor people than we are currently doing.
Well, who can argue with that? It's a race against the calendar, as I see it right now, as we're closing in on Thanksgiving, just a couple of months to go before Iowa. And, of course, he has to build some momentum in the South. Let's turn now to Larry Cohen. He's a former president of Communication Workers of America. He's a surrogate, leading surrogate for the Bernie Sanders campaign. Larry, good to have you with us.
My pleasure.
I think it's a big shot in the arm for the Sanders campaign that former state senator Nina Turner, African-American, great advocate from Ohio, is backing Bernie Sanders and endorsed him and is working hard for him in South Carolina. How heavy a lift is this going to be for the Bernie Sanders campaign to make something happen in the South?
I think it's a lift, but I think it's a matter of getting his message to people that, you know, we've had enough of corporate Democrats. It's not working in South Carolina, particularly for African Americans, but with that governor, you know, who doesn't tolerate people voting, let alone a campaign like Bernie Sanders. So I think it's a matter of getting the issues out and what he is. It's not just an older white guy from Vermont, but that he's a progressive challenger with a very different message about what corporate America has done for us and to us. So I think Nina is very important. I think she's really important in Ohio, which has an early primary as well on March 15th. So last week she introduced Bernie at Cleveland State University, her alma mater, a huge crowd, like 8,000 people there, and a very diverse crowd. So I think she makes a difference, as do the state senators in South Carolina who are African American who have endorsed him, and one of whom introduced him at one of the two churches yesterday.
How much ground do you think that the Sanders campaign can gain? What are the expectations in the next 60 days with minority voters in this country?
I think huge gains are going to continue to occur, not just among black voters, but also Latino. I think we're picking up ground fast in Nevada, which also matters with, you know, an early primary, an early caucus. So I think the message is absolutely right. And I think we're going to see big surprises in Texas, where last weekend, not this one, but the past weekend, 900 people showed up in Dallas and Houston to volunteer. No Bernie there, no Bernie within 1,000 miles. And these are volunteers, and the crowd was totally diverse. They happened to, both meetings were at CWA local union halls, but it was not a union meeting. It was people who were volunteering from those two cities. So, you know, I'm quite enthusiastic about what can be built here and how we can tie this progressive movement together.
What about the last debate, Larry, from scoring debate 1 to debate 2? How much better was it for Bernie Sanders?
Well, I think it was a lot better, particularly considering the CBS shift to talk about terrorism at the front end, which is a very emotional issue and doesn't particularly divide people one from another, except for Hillary Clinton's support for the Iraq War, but and that kind of approach as if that's going to solve things. But, you know, the strength of this campaign is, you know, we need to change America. Mm-hmm. Changing the rest of the world is a daunting task. But let's take control and let's take responsibility for our own country. And so I think he did great in the debate, except for the fact that you had to wait for 45 minutes to get to the issues that really divide them.
Yeah, no question about it.